I just kind of was obsessed with it. And at that point, not really telling anyone that we had a business. That's just it's a weird place to be, where it's like, I have a business, but it hasn't made a dime. Right?
Yeah,
it's just like
I'm with you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Wedgies podcast. Again, here in Scratch Golf Lab as we wait for things to thaw out outside on the golf course. We're joined today by a friend of ours for a while, actually.
Yeah.
Chase Jensen.
Youth, right? We've known each other
since youth.
Sure.
And owner, operator, mastermind behind Golf Course Prince.
Yes, excited to be here.
Which I'm sure a lot of the listeners have seen before, because you guys kill it. You guys absolutely kill it on social and your marketing and everything there.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope you've seen it. If not, check it out. But it's a bit fun.
Well, good, man. So we're excited to have you out here. It's been long overdue.
Sure.
And I've owed you around here at Scratch for like a month now. So we're two birds with one stone today. I'm really excited about it. But first off, kind of the first question I wanted to pose is, first off, what is Golf Course Prince? And then second, how did you get here?
Yeah, so we sell artwork of golf courses. This is like the simplest way to put it. Been in business 2.5 or 3 years. Coming up on 3 years. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, there's kind of a lot of stuff that led into that. But started as just, my wife and I side hustle and kind of continue growing, and I guess we can dive into some of that stuff. But.
Yeah, I think the first natural question is, why golf? Actually, let's talk about your wife a little bit, right? Because this doesn't happen without her.
Yeah.
Right? What does she do at Golf Course Prince?
Yeah, so she's the artist.
Yeah.
The story here is, first I was obsessed with e-commerce. Right? Mm-hmm. During COVID, I got furloughed. I didn't know what unemployment was.
Yep.
No adult told me, right? So I didn't go on unemployment. I wish I would have. But I ended up in a warehouse for a few days packaging, orders for some brand. There's a little product that it was like a gun magnet for your car. Grab your handgun. It's kind of a super weird product. But we were pumping out.
But it was selling, yeah.
It was selling crazy. I was doing 20 a minute, right? And I was like, what is going on, right? So that kind of got the wheels turning a little bit. And then shortly thereafter, a friend of mine who you both would know, his younger sister was making a ton of money in the e-commerce space and print-on-demand space. Mm-hmm. And that just blew my mind, right? So then, shortly thereafter, my wife wanted to buy an iPad. And I was not about to spend $1,000 or $1,200 or whatever it was on an iPad for her to, doodle on or whatever. And I was like, well, is there a way we could, make money with this or
justify it?
Yeah. Can we make our $1,000 back with this? How does that work? And I jumped on Etsy, and there wasn't any golf related artwork in terms of local courses. Like, you could find the Pebble Beach and the St. Andrews, but beyond maybe the top 10 or 15, there really wasn't anything for the local market. So that's the idea was, well, let's just make courses or designs around these courses that are local to us. We're both from Heber, so that's kind of where we started with the Utah courses. Because every golf course is special to somebody.
100%. I mean, that's how a big part of that is how we started this company was, you're right, every golf course is unique, both in its layout, but also its members and history. And so 100%, like we shot a golf documentary at Palisade, 3 years ago now. And that was the catalyst that started what we're doing. So 100% correct. And Palisade, is a tiny course in the middle of central Utah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some interesting stories out of there. So for sure.
No, yeah, one of my favorites actually. We did their scorecard. And
oh, really? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Who's the guy down there? Is it Jesse? Or is his name? Anyway, I forget. It's been a few years. But
same.
Great guy, great head pro.
Yeah.
Really, really fun course for sure.
Yeah. So started with the Utah courses. How did that first sale go? How did you guys? Let me back it up. Why golf in the first place? Because growing up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't golf.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
I knew who golfed because not that many people did.
No, I didn't golf. My dad was a big golfer.
Sure.
Growing up, and so he got my twin brother and I in much too young. We were 2 or 3 years old is the story he tells, and we might have been 4 or 5. on the range at Homestead, and we didn't want to swing a golf club, right? We're just throwing balls, and we're twins, and we're just kind of rolling around in the dirt or whatever. And he, from that moment, was like, I'm not going to teach these kids how to golf. So my golf, I could have been on, the PGA if we would have continued, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't continue. So then later on in maybe early high school, I got a set of clubs, used clubs, and I would golf occasionally.
Right.
But I didn't. Yeah, I actually did try it for the team.
You did?
Yes, my senior year, tried out for the team. More so, well, I joke about Austin Tubman, a friend of ours, and he was trying out, and he was like, "You come out with me." It was $5 to play either 9 or 18, but I think it was 9.
They charged?
They did charge.
Did you graduate in
15?
So you graduated
I was
a year
after
after
you guys. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't have been, when you tried out, I wasn't there. I just wanted everybody to know that I would have remembered if you were there, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I'm covering my bases. They charged you guys?
I want to say it was $5. I don't know if it was, but that's why I was there.
Yeah.
And the coach rolls through, which was it Reevely?
Yes.
Who I never had as a teacher, so I didn't know that.
Oh, so you didn't know at all?
He didn't know that I was a total, gangster. I don't take anything seriously. But he rolls through like, "What's your guys' score?" And Austin really was playing pretty well. Probably should have made the team, and we joke about it to this day. But then he tells him to score, and I was like, I think about 100 over, and he rolls his eyes, and he got pretty visibly pissed off, and ran off or rolled away in his cart, and Austin didn't get a call back the next day to go to the second tryouts. And to this day, I still feel guilty that because I was goofing off. That Austin didn't get his nod at making the team. But didn't take golf super seriously. Golfed a little bit in high school. After high school, golfed quite a bit, and then through college and COVID hit, I started getting more into it. I golf 2 or 3 times a week. I really wish, one of my biggest regrets is I didn't play in high school.
Sure.
I think it built such a great foundation, and swings a match, and you guys will see it if we swing it after this. But every year after taking 6 months off, I'm like, this is just a new sport.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoy getting out and golfing, but not a great golfer by any means. But it was kind of golfing a lot through COVID.
Yeah.
Just kind of wanted to pursue this business a little bit.
Cool. So I guess that's where the insight came from, was getting into the sport at a time when a lot of people were.
Sure.
In all honesty. So COVID, well, I have an interesting personal relationship with COVID. I mean, and this company does. I mean, it really was a catalyst for what we're doing today.
Okay.
Probably similar with you as well, because we didn't land the jobs that we were hoping to get when we were in college.
Yeah.
In that advertising space that Caden and myself and Dane graduated in, those jobs that we thought were going to be there weren't. And so we ended up in places that were good, but not necessarily what we had envisioned being at as a result of COVID. And at the same time, blew the golf industry up, right?
Yeah.
Sounds really similar to the situation you were in.
Yeah.
So interest grew in that space. It was one of the only things you could do at the time. And maybe weren't in jobs that we loved being in, or we were furloughed. We didn't have, really weren't where we wanted to be. And so, so that's super interesting. So that happened. Wife wanted to do some art. Fantastic artist, by the way.
Good job.
You wanted to buy an iPad. Wanted to justify the price of the iPad. Golf was what you were doing at the time. So looked into that area, found that insight. Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, so we started on Etsy. We really started selling. And we had an Instagram. And I started pretty much just spam following all the local golf courses. I followed their followers, right?
Yep.
And I knew it was kind of fun. I realized for every 4 followers, or people I followed, 1 would follow back. And for every 10 followers, I'd make a sale, right?
Oh, really?
I don't know if that would still hold up, but that was roughly the number, right? So I remember walking my dog and just spam following everybody. And then you would really follow 150 or 200 people a day, and then you get some pop-up.
I didn't even know that.
Spammy account, right?
Wow. Okay.
So that's how we got our first 1,500 followers, I would imagine.
Wow.
And so we continued posting, and at first our posts were just the artwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's realized that, social media is not something I'm super passionate about in terms of creating the content, and my wife isn't really either. So we have a phenomenal agency that runs our social media now. If you go look up our social media, that's who that is.
You guys do a crazy good job.
Yeah, no, she's done a great job. But so that's how we started, was Etsy and Instagram, and just pretty organic. And then it turned into, okay, we need to get a Shopify site, push traffic to Shopify and collect emails and that whole thing, right? So Been a lot to learn, but that's where we started, was Etsy and Instagram.
And spam following people.
Exactly. Yeah. If I spam followed you, I apologize. But, that's how it started.
And if you bought something, thank you.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you.
So I'm trying to remember. Let's talk about the tournament really quick.
Yeah.
Because we got a little bit closer through that, which was awesome as companies.
Sure.
So you guys have been an awesome sponsor with us since year 1 of our tournament 2 years ago. We're going into year 3, having you guys back out again this year. Some sweet stuff coming in the swag bags. Some commemorative stuff that we've done every year, which I'm really excited about again. I'm trying to remember, I think it was it last year? Because we were loading stuff up last year, right?
Yeah.
I came by your office and I was like, you have an office? And I'm trying to remember when you told me, you're like, yeah, I'm full-time in this, and my wife's full-time in this, and my mom's full-time in this.
Yeah.
And I was like, you found something. You guys are doing something. When was it that you went full-time, and when was it that you started to realize this was maybe a little bit more than spamming people on Instagram and selling on Etsy?
No, absolutely. So the timeline was, we got our first sale on Etsy August of 2021.
Okay.
And then I was working, full-time as a corporate headhunter recruiter. Mm-hmm. My wife was a nanny at the time. And we just spent, nights and weekends on this stuff. And my wife has admitted now that it's, actually worked out. But for the first year, she had no vision for it. She was kind of keeping me happy, and I'd bug her, hey, draw this course, or this person wants, Soldier Hollow or something. Mm-hmm. And she would do it and happily do it, but she didn't possess the same obsession or vision that I did. For the first year, that was what it was. I mean, we were spending a couple $1,000 a month.
Side hustle.
And just, losing some money. And I just kind of was obsessed with it. And at that point, not really telling anyone that we're had a business. That's just it's a weird place to be, where it's like, I have a business, but it hasn't made a dime.
Yeah,
it's just
I'm with you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and there's people all the time like, oh, I have a business. It's like, great. That whole thing comes with it. It's how strange. But so then we did the first long day, which was June of 22, correct?
Yeah.
So at that point, we were still really small and trying to figure stuff out. And spending, 5 to 15 hours a week on it, I would imagine. And a month after the long day, which would have been end of June, we had an influencer post. And between her 2 posts, it got 1 million views. I was working in my job at the time, and I was in a meeting. I remember it vividly in my phone, just the Shopify ding every 2
That's
seconds.
The best.
Ding, ding,
that's the best ding.
No, it was crazy. Yeah, boss was like, we were with the client or something. Like, hey, dude, turn it off. I was like, I'm sorry, turn it off real quick. And it was kind of a crazy day. But from that day, which would have been end of July of 22, over the course of the next couple months, we quit our jobs and reinvested the money into advertising. And since that day, it's been legitimate in terms of revenue and things. But since then, it's been full time. And so then, for a time, we did have an office. As of last year, we had an office for a year. And we were doing a lot of our own printing and shipping. And then we've now outsourced all of that and no longer have the office and no longer employ my mom, unfortunately. She lost her day job.
It was too good. She lost her.
She loved it, right?
That's good.
It was just her spending money, but
good. Yeah,
it wasn't something we could do forever.
Yeah.
But there's better ways to run businesses.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, let's speak to that a little bit. I can imagine yourself similar to us. It's I firmly believe running a business is something you learn by doing it, right? There are so many things. We're roughly on the same timeline. I think we started May 21.
Okay.
So we're coming up on 3 years. And it takes a minute to get going and all that stuff, right? But roughly same timetable, right? And on the business side, there's just so many things you learn going through it that you never thought would come up. There's good stuff, there's cool stuff, and there's not so fun stuff, right? And I think it's super cool that you guys are obviously, stuck with it, seeing success, and then it's about optimizing it from there, right?
Exactly.
Finding where that money's best spent, what products are working, which ones maybe aren't so much, and just, you're never done, are you?
Yeah. No,
you know,
exactly. That's exactly right.
always testing, always trying to figure it out. And I think what I've found recently is like we've been able to do some really cool stuff, work with some really cool people, create some really cool things that we're really proud of as an agency. But you're never like satisfied, you know what I mean? Like I don't know where that mountaintop is. I don't know where that place is going to be where I'm like, yeah, we did it. Like I always feel like we haven't done it yet.
Sure.
Do you feel similar to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We look at our, lifetime revenue or last year's revenue.
Yeah.
It's an awesome number, and it's really, a really cool thing that I feel like, we accomplished that.
100%.
Right? But it's like, well, if we don't double that this next year,
then what are we doing?
I'm gonna be disappointed, right?
Yeah.
So I absolutely get that. And you're right. There's always something that we can fix or tweak. For a long time, our marketing was the issue, right?
Okay, yeah.
Our fulfillment was totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it kind of flipped on its head where our marketing was giving us too many sales, essentially.
You couldn't keep up
We
with
couldn't
it.
keep up with the fulfillment of those sales. So there was, unfortunately, some people that got an order a week too late over Christmas this last year. So
It happens, and we try our best, don't
exactly,
we? We do.
Exactly. But, so then there's the things we could do to automate that a little bit better. But yeah, there's always, some piece of the business that can be improved for sure.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And so
Okay.
and I think it was still in that stage when you probably weren't telling everybody that this was your thing anyway.
Sure.
And then I'm trying to remember the first time when I connected the two together, and I was like, oh, Chase from school and golf course prints, which is like doing quite well. That was fun for me, honestly, because I was like, hey, like another hometown guy is like in this space, finding success. That's super fun. And then I'll tell you this too, throughout the years that you've been doing this and that we've been doing what we've been doing, we've had the awesome opportunity to travel around to a bunch of different places, bunch of different courses that we have no business being on as players.
Okay, sure.
But I've been lucky enough to be in some of these places. And we see your stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've told you this.
I haven't heard that.
In pro shops, clubhouses, even in like retail locations.
Very cool.
So like even outside of the state and places that we've been, we've seen your stuff and like your prints in the golf courses of that print, if that makes, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So every time we see some stuff, it's this chick, like, yeah, like you guys are out there for real. And that's super exciting. When we first met and we were doing this, I can correct me if I'm wrong, it was just prints that you were doing.
Yeah, no, it was.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where are you at now?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We sold the prints, which are just posters, right? And then we added frames last year. Mm-hmm. And then we might have always done canvases. Well, I'm trying to remember. But canvases and then framed canvases. And then we recently, last year, added golf towels, which has been an awesome addition. And then blankets as well. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of our four products, that maybe six if you count the frames is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, so each print or each design, you can order in 45 different, variations of sizes or color frames or different things. So it's been a fun thing for sure. But yeah, figuring that out is there's a headache with each one.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right. So,
yeah. It's never easy. But that's awesome. What do you have? Like, what's on the horizon? What's coming up? What's in the incubator? What's in the works for you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's funny because people come out of them everywhere just telling me you should do all these different
Everybody's got ideas.
You should do ski resorts. You should do this. You should do that,
I see.
Right?
Okay.
So there probably is a million different ways that you could run a print-on-demand business, right? But for us, it's really let's buckle down, and so we have 7,000 courses currently.
That's crazy.
99% of those are probably stateside. We have a fair amount that are international, but there's 17,000 courses in the United States. So for now, we want to get to that number, have every course in the States. We want to run our ads that say we have your
we got
your little course. Go double check, right? Something like that. And then there's about that many international, right? There's about 17,000. So there's roughly like 35,000 courses in the world, right? So for now, it's like we're just going to buckle down, continue to improve our product, but continue adding to our library of courses. So there's not like some big, we're going to launch something else. But it's really just buckling down, continuing to expand our library, and we want to have every course for sure in the nation, and then I don't know if you go international or not.
Yeah,
but
that's an undertaking. That's awesome. And you have to. Awesome goal. Is this still your wife that does all the art?
So she does most of it. Yeah, she got some people that do a piece of it, but all of it goes through her eyes, and she is kind of the quality.
She's working hard.
She's doing. But yeah.
Take care of her.
Yeah, she's good.
That's awesome. I just out of curiosity, you have 7,000 courses?
Correct. Yeah.
First I want to know what are some of the best sellers in general?
Sure.
What are some that maybe surprise you that perform well?
Good question. Yeah, the best sellers. I mean, they're ranked on our site, so it's like Pebble and Pinehurst 2, and
all some legendary tracks.
The big courses, right?
Yeah,
the Banded Dunes. The courses that I hope to play.
Sure. Yeah.
And I've thought about maybe every year I need to go play on these courses.
Yeah.
And now in terms of what sells well, I mean, it's funny. You'll get a bulk order every once in a while for some little course you've never heard of. It's interesting. I don't keep track of like the little courses as well as I should. But it's really the best sellers are the big courses that are getting those. But they oftentimes buy Pebble Beach, but then they pair it with for us it would be Homestead. Right? That's the course that I love. Right? That's my home course. Or there's a few others. But it's interesting to see how those get purchased or what's selling. Is it the towels, right? Blankets or but it makes a great gift. There's a lot of our customers is a gift giving product. They go from their life.
100%. And I think your product slots in really, really well with our tournament. That's why I'm excited to have you guys back again this year. You've been with us every single year.
Yeah.
It's fun. I have friends that have played in the event that have them framed in their homes.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, and then
they get
number 3 coming up, but they're like collecting them. And I'm like, this is awesome.
We gotta make it maybe a little more unique this year.
So we can see what we want to do. But I think it's so fun because, to give some context, like we've been extremely lucky to have custom designs for our events, right? You guys have the courses, but then you format them in a way and add our branding to it and commemorate it with dates and everything,
right?
Which makes it even a little more custom and special and unique. Our players really like it. We're really excited to have you guys back again this year, like I said. And then excited to see where you go, too. Like, I just think it's so cool that we can both be in this space. And we've talked about this on the show before, but with golf, it's just like literally the ultimate connector. And it's like, it doesn't matter when you get into it. Everybody respects everybody that plays. You know what I mean? Like, Caden and I grew up playing, I think I was probably 8, Caden was maybe 6, sometime around that age, right? And we played all.
So years after I started playing. It's what we're here.
Years after you perfected your game, we thought we'd give it a try. And like I said, like I mentioned earlier, like at that time, dude, like I knew everybody that played golf in the Valley that was like around my age, because you could keep track of them. There wasn't very many. I'm talking kids that like, well, not even kids that like played, but like kids that played enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like, it feels like everybody's into it.
Right.
Which is awesome for business, obviously, but then also, great for the game. And it's fun that we can connect on that. I didn't maybe foresee that golf would be what maybe brought us a little bit back together after high school and stuff like that. But I'm glad that it is, and that anybody can, in your case, get back into it or start at any time. And so I think it's really a sport for everybody and connects a lot of people. And I'm sure over the years that you've been doing this, you've made some awesome connections, met some great people, and been to places you maybe never thought you'd go.
No, absolutely.